Tell me, he didn't just say that.
Till the day that I become Hokage, whatever happens, there's no way I'm gonna die.
Remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
Anime, wrestling, comic books and weed. This is the A.W.C.W podcast with your host, the Twisted King Savage.
Smoke weed every day.
What's good, gorgeous? You are listening to A.W.C.W podcast. I am your host, the Twisted King Savage. Now, today I want to focus on particularly AEW versus NXT. Now, I've been going back and forth with various people about how they feel about both brands. And one thing I have to say, I am a big fan of the AEW product right now. Like, I really like the message that they're putting out there. Like, Cody Rhodes chasing the title right now has been one of the most interesting things to watch, because it's basically Cody Rhodes balancing his role in the company as the boss, but also as a wrestler. It's playing off well with Jericho's heel work with the Inner Circle. Like, one of the best things I like about what AEW has done with the Inner Circle is that everyone has a defined role. Like, Jericho is the veteran heel. Sammy is the young guy on the come up. Ortiz and Santana are just fucking mercenaries. Like, though they are some bad men, and they're great at their jobs. Like, this past week when they had the whole Rick and Morty thing, they're in there with the Rick and Morty mask and jumped the Young Bucks after they didn't put put those two old dudes through the stage earlier that night. Excellent heel work for them. And, like, an interesting thing I found out about Jake Hager, and the reason why he's not wrestling is because his contract with Bellator doesn't allow him to wrestle. He is allowed to get, like, lightweight physical, as we seen when he busted up Dustin's arm and put his head like that. Anybody notice that shot Dustin took? Like, he put his head into the side of that limo and dented that mofo. Like, oh, I thought that was worse than the arm break. But yeah, he can't wrestle yet, so it's going to be big when he finally is able to hit the ring. Just mark my words, that is going to be something when he finally gets to actually wrestle. But yeah, each has their roles. Each plays their stuff perfectly. You have the Young Bucks, Kenny and them, but they're together. But you can see they're also kind of separate. Now I'm bouncing over to NXT. Like, I keep having this argument if you go over. I keep saying NXT needs to get out of Full Sail. I like Full Sail as a great arena, but right now in this battle on Wednesday nights between the two, AEW is kicking their ass because AEW feels bigger. Like, you can argue all day to me about NXT putting on better matches. Yeah, they're putting on great matches, but it's in that same Full Sail arena. And even though sometimes Full Sail can get rocking and it can really go, but it's almost like reliving the ECW's bingo hall days. Yeah, that bingo hall can get rocking because there's only what 500-600 people in that mofo. So yeah, but when you got 10,000, 15,000 in an arena, that's a whole different level of pop. You know, and the one thing I keep saying that AEW is beating them is that AEW every Wednesday is literally putting more butts in the seats than NXT. NXT, what was it? The Full Sail arena sits what, maybe 1,000 max. Meanwhile, AEW that Wednesday is putting 10 times that. and it's new people. Now there is, I hear there is some people who are faithfully following him around, but then that's just genius on Cody and as far as to stay in that southern territory, because that's what AEW wrestling is. That's it's southern wrestling with a new twist. Like, I watched his interview with Cody just the other day, like how he used to talk to his dad every day about wrestling. Like, to me, always NXT, no matter what Triple H says, that was fucking Dusty Rhodes' creation. Dusty Rhodes created NXT. Triple H might have oversaw it, managed it, but everybody knows Dusty was the guy behind all that. You can tell by the style how they're wrestling. That's all that is. But what surprises me is that Cody sat at that man's side every day. That's why I have faith in Cody Rhodes and AEW. Because I know Cody Rhodes knows this business. I was telling somebody the other day, I was like, I became a Cody Rhodes fan when Cody Rhodes became Stardust. To see how he took that character, and everybody knew that was a shit character. That was a shit ass character. Like, but he took it and he fucking went 110%. Same shit was it Damian Sandow did. It's like, everybody knows you're in a shitty gimmick, but the fact that you still are professional enough to do your job to the best of your abilities, you earned my respect. So, another big thing I hear like complaints about AEW is like, they don't just spend enough time doing promos. Yeah, that's the WWE format. WWE has weaned everybody. Every wrestler has to have these 30 seconds, 2 minute long promos, interviews. What AEW has been using is what WWE should have been using since they were the bigger company, and they're using their social media better. Have any of you noticed that any time an AEW wrestler is somewhere, Comic-Con or doing an interview, they have created an air that something might always jump off. So you're allowing social media to do. If you've not been following MJF and what he's been doing on social media, I don't know what to tell you. That's how you understand who MJF is. If you want to know who the Young Bucks is, fucking go on YouTube. That's where you learn who the Young Bucks are. They don't have to waste time telling you who a wrestler is on the TV program because they have other mediums that you're going to have to follow. Now, I know for some people it might be hard and you wanted everything spoon-fed to you, but dude, you've got fucking homework and go check it out. There's more ways for wrestlers to get themselves over without having to pick up a mic and fucking run their mouth in front of a camera when they could be spending that time wrestling. I can watch his in their intro at my leisure. So let's just move on for that. Like, I love how they're not wasting their time. Also, I love how AEW has not one but two shows, AEW and AEW Dark, with their dark matches that are both as popular as each other. Great job in maximizing everything. Like, literally, you're getting 3 hours of wrestling from AEW. That's every week. And it's funny because I've been watching, like, people are excited every week for AEW Dark as much as they are for AEW Dynamite. That is insane.
If you like to contact the show or Mr. Savage direct, you can reach him on Twitter at Twisted Savage. You can also contact us on Instagram at The Twisted King Savage and A.W.C.W Podcast, or by email awcwpodcast@gmail.com.
Also, one of my favorite moments was how SCU won the tag titles this past week. I love the finish. I know some people hated it. Everybody likes that big build up to the payoff, but I'm seeing where they're going with this. They don't want to make their match ending so predictable. Like, the whole story with Scorpio Sky and Kazarian was that wasn't the planned team. That wasn't the duo who was supposed to win the championship. But the Lucha Brothers fucked up Christopher Daniels and took him out. When it ends up with them going against each other in the finals. So how do you protect both teams without screwing one over? Perfect. Kazarian and Scorpio looked like they're about to lose that match. Like, it seemed to be over. And of course, you know, they could have did the WWE thing, and Kazarian could have came in there and got hot and, you know, hit move after move, and they could have won that way. But that kind of would have been believable. They literally just put this man through a table. All this man could do is slide his ring and dive onto Pentagon to distract him long enough for Scorpio to get the roll up. It's a quick win. It protects the Lucha Brothers because they're going to have a rematch at some point. I don't think they're going to do it at Full Gear to be too quick. And I think that's something that they want to, how you say, let's simmer for a while. That could be pulled in for the next pay-per-view. So putting in on Scorpio Sky and Kazarian creates a great story. I mean, they've already had some great moments afterwards with Scorpio Sky talking about, you know, JR calling this match and memories like that. It's a great moment for both characters, and it creates an amazing story going off because that tag team division AEW is hot. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if SCU wouldn't be defending it against maybe either I suppose as House Party or maybe the Dark Order. I think the Dark Order might be their next opponents. But, you know, who cares? They might just turn the corner and actually book the rematch for Full Gear just to get it out of the way. We'll see. Let's talk about Bray winning the Universal Championship at Crown Jewel. Like, once they announced that the match could not end for any reason, I already knew they were going to put the strap on Bray. I like the Bray Wyatt character, the concept, but it's just like it's like fucking Deadpool and Wolverine and comic books. They're just whoring them out whoring the character out at this point. You know, the Bray Wyatt was supposed to be this character that that's designed to be, you're supposed to be scared of him, but it's just he's how the term goes, he's fucking broken. That's the only way I can explain him as a character. He is broken. Like, he took 27 fucking curb stomps and just keeps getting up and like fuck, they should just call him the Fiend. They should have just fucking called him the Terminator and did a deal with fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger with him and could have got a real good pop for the Dark Fate movie. Like, shit, at this point, it made no sense. And then the fact that they darkened the arena in that stupid ass red light, like, I felt the lighting at some points was almost as bad as the Game of Thrones episode when they fought the Night King. It's like, what the fuck am I watching, a wrestling match or a horror movie? And what kills me the most about this whole concept is fucking Fox drafts Bray Wyatt the Fiend to their brand, which doesn't make a lick of fucking sense if you're trying to create a more sports-oriented wrestling product. He's literally the fucking polar opposite of what you're trying to fucking create on that channel. Who the fuck is doing it? Does anybody fucking think about this shit? They just say, fuck it, we'll figure out a way to make it work. You have fucking Bray Wyatt, Firefly Funhouse on FS1. how does that make sense for the product that you're trying to create? Like to be honest with you, maybe the smarter move was to give fucking Fox NXT and not fucking SmackDown. Like, oh wow, wowie, for real. I love how WWE tried to fix this problem because Bray Wyatt is a SmackDown wrestler and he just won the Raw title. So what they have fucking Brock do? Go on SmackDown, quit, and then just go over to fucking Raw to go beat up Rey Mysterio. I love how Rey came out with a lead pipe and busted Brock's knees up. I ain't gonna lie, that was hilarious watching Brock on spaghetti legs try to walk away. Like, okay. So all I gotta say in this feud, if I'm talking to Vince about this feud, right? So you want me to do a feud where Brock beats the shit out of me, beats the shit out of my son, beat the shit out of my boy who's trying to help me protect my son, and then beat the shit out of all three of us, giving F5s like. But when that nigga Brock F5 that fool Rey Mysterio into the wall, I just got flashbacks of when Kevin Nash lawn darted Rey to the side of the trailer back in that WCW angle. Oh my god, dude! I was like, I thought that was bad, and then this nigga picked up Cain Velasquez and then F5'd him on the Rey side. I was like, this nigga Brock is insane. Somebody needs to arrest this man right now. Oh my god. So after all that, fine. So at the end of this feud, I think Rey is going to end up winning the title. I think some shit's going to happen. Cain Velasquez is going to punch this nigga, do something, and Rey's going to win the title because obviously Brock is probably just being used at this point just as a ratings bump. I can see Brock ended up after that getting shipped back to fucking SmackDown again. And just to keep that going, which would probably mean that you will probably see the Beast versus the Fiend. Mark my words, you will see the Beast versus the Fiend. I can see Rey winning the title. That means possibly we'll see Rey versus Seth, but I don't see Rey holding that title for too long. I mean, I heard there was a WrestleMania angle for him that they were talking about, but I don't think that it's going to involve the title. I hope it doesn't involve the title. It's like at this point, I think it's just I think everybody, in order for Vince to get people to sign, he just promises titles to everybody, and now he's just working through the list. Like, okay, Rey, it's your turn. You're gonna have it now. It's your turn. Whatever. So we'll see what happens after what is it? Oh yeah, Survivor Series. For the first time, Raw versus SmackDown versus A.W.C.W. No, not really. Raw versus SmackDown versus Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT. And as we've seen, they've already filed the first shot. Like, okay, this is what I enjoyed most about Friday Night SmackDown after the whole Brock quitting. NXT invades, and you just got on this network, and for the ratings boost, you figured the great way to do that is have your keep getting mixed up. The NXT talent come over there and run roughshod over everybody in the thing, and your excuse was, well, they weren't at full strength. Okay, cool. I mean, great ratings boost. I mean, bravo, and I think that's going to translate into a nice rating boost for probably NXT this Wednesday. But that also might translate into a boost for AEW, just so people want to see if AEW is going to respond it at all. So you know what? I'm gonna leave things at that. Talk some more a little about later on. My next show so for my next show, I'm thinking of doing my favorite villains in anime, wrestling, comic books, and weed as well. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, stay tuned. God bless. See you soon.
If you like to contact the show or Mr. Savage direct, you can reach him on Twitter at @TwistedSavage. You can also contact us on Instagram at the Twisted King Savage and A.W.C.W podcast, or by email awcwpodcast@gmail.com.
We've talked about this. I know you have an announcement that's weighing heavy on you right now. Please tell us all what that announcement is.
I'm not surprised. We're not surprised. The arrival of Chris Jericho with the Inner Circle, it's been blunt. Or to use a more apropos term, it's been strategic. They have taken a scalpel to the elite. But it's a short victory lap, men, and here is why. We were already looking for you. We looked within our own club at one point. We have searched all over the world for a card that we could put our names on and match up with Matt and Nick Jackson, with Kenny Omega, with Hangman Adam Page, with myself, hell, with my brother. So, we were looking and you found us. And November 9th, this Saturday, I find myself on the marquee with our AEW World Champion, Chris Jericho. Tony and I have talked about it. He knows what I'm about to announce, but before I do, humor me, I'm going to go on a bit of a detour and rattle off a few names. Eddie Graham, Cowboy Bill Watts, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Titans in our business. They were the best bell to bell, and they were the best at the box office. And for those who saw them with their own eyes, those memories reverberate in their heart. It is a good feeling. It is positive. But for the cold and sterile historians of our business, there's an air of controversy that surrounds it. It's from the simple fact that those men were also, in addition to being competitors, they were management. Not unlike myself. And for the last year, I've told everybody, every podcast, every radio, every correspondent, I've shouted it off the rooftops how proud I am of AEW, how proud I am of the all-inclusive nature, of the schedule, of the pay, of the fact that we will listen. This is Ellis Island for a professional wrestler. This is freedom. So, when I hear the same criticism attached to my name for being management and being in a title match, I can't not hear it. And with that said, I am announcing that if I do not defeat... If I do not defeat Chris Jericho at Full Gear, I will never challenge for the AEW World Championship again. Chris Jericho, that is a very big if. It's not an encumbrance. It's not an albatross that is going to sit on your chest and weigh you down. It is going to vanish. You've taken to calling my lot entitled millennials. You've called me an entitled millennial bitch. I neglected to read in your best-selling book, A Lion's Tale, which you can get on Amazon for $3 or at any flea market. I neglected to read about the upbringing you had that was so hard. You talked about my silver spoon. Gosh, it must have been so difficult being the upper-class son of a famous hockey player. It is almost like we shared the exact same silver spoon, you stupid dick. You've dismissed every accomplishment I've made. You've talked about my father. Well, you call me an entitled millennial, I call you a carny succubus, because the dirty secret about you, the dirty secret is you need this generation more than it needs you. And you've surrounded yourself with impressionable youth. This isn't about my dad. This isn't about the dead, it's about the living. It's about my mother. It's about my sister. It's about my wife. It's about the 14 years it took me to go from undesirable to un-goddamn deniable. At Full Gear, I beat you. I become the world champion, and you fall back into your circle, your inner circle, and you let them know the ground should be rumbling between their feet because the elite are coming. And when the elite and the inner circle square off, it'll be a match beyond, and we are going to eat you alive.
Amazing passion. But what has this extremely talented young man done? The pressure he is now under. It's not just maybe win, he has to win.
This is a must-win situation for Cody on Saturday night. Full Gear on pay-per-view.